You know, you could look a man or a woman in their eye, you could shake their hand, and you know if this was a person of integrity.
Mm-hmm.
The more we moved away from that, the harder it is. So now it's easy for us to hide behind our electronic devices and just go within.
Yeah.
And when we go within, we're not looking at who we are. We're just being in the moment, whatever we are being. And so we don't know how we affect other people. Remember Judith Ann, when Judith Ann and I used to do the youth leadership?
Yes.
And she would always come back and talk about, you know, how these kids, they would get off the computers and then they'd be screaming at their parents and they need to take time to decompress after being on the internet.
They were like disrespectful or something?
Disrespectful, but not necessarily in an intention to be.
Okay.
It was just because the lack of human context. You know, they were on a computer and you're typing IDK, LOL, and all the stuff that is just acronyms for stuff but no real words. So you're not making any warm connection. You don't have to feel what another person is saying anymore. So now we can talk to each other without understanding the words behind the words. Now people can't even completely express themselves. You know, emotions get so wrapped up that we can't make sense of it. Mindfulness brings you back to that.
Self-awareness, that kind of
That's really what it is.
Like I talked about the self-awareness of the social media, I had that awareness to say, okay, in the past I broke these promises to myself, but now I'm going to step back with mindfulness and say, okay, I still have a blank slate for my future. Let me restart. Yeah.
So it's you seeing you and understanding you, but also understanding how you're affecting others. If Madison came downstairs and I'm watching TV and she want to talk to me, and I say, Madison, you're bothering me. And then she runs back upstairs and she starts crying. I don't know what the problem is, right? If I'm not mindful. If I'm mindful, I can realize, you know, if I'm mindful, it's like, oh, I hurt her feelings because, you know. But if you're not there, all you thinking is, all I said was I'm doing something. No, that wasn't all you said. That's the actual words. I'm doing something. But you missed everything else. Words are words. Yeah. There's a commercial where the guy comes out and he looks at his car and he say, oh my God. And then the girl comes out and her father bought her a car. She's like, oh my God. Right? Yeah. And they just keep saying the same words. The guy whose car been vandalized is saying the exact same words as the girl whose father bought her a new car. Yeah. It's just the emphasis on the words.
On the type of words.
He's completely frustrated and she's just so excited.
Yeah.
That's what's behind the words. A word can say a lot of things, but you have to hear what's behind the words, what's not being said. You see, if Madison came downstairs and I looked up at her and said, honey, I'm busy right now. Can you come back? Or, honey, I'm busy right now. She may go back upstairs, watch TV, and come back later and not really feel that bad about it. If I don't look up at her and I say, I'm busy, even could say, honey, I'm busy right now. That
just
tone.
The tone, yeah.
Right. You know, she goes upstairs, she could cry because I hurt her feelings. Same word.
No.
Mirror shows up in 5 different ways. And that's the thing that people don't get, particularly when we hear a lot of spiritual teachers talk about a mirror. They only focus on one, which is the easiest for people to understand.
I didn't know this. I like this. It's good content.
Universally, a mirror shows up in 5 different ways. Yeah. One is the most popular way, which means what you see in another and you dislike in yourself. Or what you like in another, you like in yourself. Another is the mirror is just showing you you. It's not a matter of like or dislike. In your case, the mirror showed you who you were. You see, when you looked at him and you were trying to make him conform to your way, the mirror was showing you that you're being judgmental. That's all it was showing. So if you looked at that mirror...
Judgmental and overly expectant. Meaning my expectations were here, and the reality was here.
And you know what? It was not even about your expectations, because your expectation could have been very low, it could have been high, it could have been anything. Yeah. The thing is, you wanted him to act like you. So the mirror wanted you to see that you want this person, instead of being him, to be you. The mirror was reflecting back who you were. He wasn't showing you what you like or dislike.
I'm not him, but he.
Right. Yeah. He was showing you one of the things that's within you. So mirrors can show you what's in you.
And what within me was that I was being a little bit judgmental about. Well,
because you were trying to change him.
It's a catch-22.
You were frustrated because you could not change him.
I don't mean to judge him, but the catch-22 here is I'm the one who's let down. So now it's like
but are you
mirroring back on me.
Let's think conversations with God, and Neil is having a conversation with God, and he's telling God, because if someone lets him down, it could affect his family.
Yeah.
And God says to him, do you really want someone to do something, even if they made a promise that they really don't want to do?
Say that again.
God said to Neil, do you really want someone to do something because of a promise that they really don't want to do? And Neil was like, yeah, if they made the promise. And he was like, no one does anything that they don't want to do. And so if you're trying to force the person to do it, you're trying to make them do something that they obviously didn't want to do. And so he's explaining to him that each human being has the right to make a choice. Now, integrity would say, even if they promise. But integrity would say, don't say you're going to do something if you can't do it.
Yeah.
I.e., I told you about when I left the radio station, and I told you that Angie said that she was going to stick around, and then one day later, she thought about it. She knew she was going to be asked to do some things, and it was probably things that she couldn't do, so she left the station as well. That was being in integrity, but not everybody is that way. You know, and
because
so
she didn't want to do it anymore.
Right, but she was she was being in integrity. She knew that if she said yes and then don't do it, that's wrong. And she knew that no matter really, bottom line, no matter what you want me to do, I'm not going to do it. So I might as well just quit.
Yeah.
Because her initial statement to me when I left was, well, I'm going to stick around and I'm going to see. I'm going to make an informed decision. 24 hours later, she's saying, I quit.
Yeah.
Okay, but she realized. So, but what we tend to do, and we all do it, if this is how I am, this is how I expect you to show up, because you're making it personal. So he's not the one disappointing you. You're the one disappointing you. If you had no attachment to it, like I told you about Dave, and it took me a while to get there with Dave.
So I'm disappointing myself by having too much expectation
on him.
On him, and an attachment, and wanting to push my values on him.
Exactly. You're the one creating this whole thing.
Is it okay to observe the fact in a polite way? Okay, I don't like his values. It doesn't mean I don't like him. Well, I love him as a person.
You don't like his behavior, his action in that sense.
I like him. He's great. He's wonderful. Neil Donald Walsh. Every person at their core is wonderful.
Yeah.